Well, hello, hi.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to a very special bi-week episode from the GameView crew, which we have adoringly called the GameView podcast. If you're watching, you can see there's a little view thing on the thing there, where we'll dissect a movie that is based loosely or otherwise on a video game and give it a rating with our handy GameBrew rating system TM. No one else can use it. You're not allowed.
Saw the patent.
If
Hard that it's every time, so it's really hard to.
It's really hard. It's hard to lock down whenever people are using it. So it's also bad for us, but bad for them too.
Lengthy legal battles all over the place.
Yeah. So hey, do you guys remember that time when your dad disappeared under mysterious circumstances and left you a vast fortune and you used it to fight a robot?
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. But it did happen in Lara Croft Tomb Raider. I'm Dan Rotz, and I'm joined by whoever, and we're going to talk about it.
Whoever.
Whoever.
Yes. No, I'm joined today by Chris, as per usual, and Gray is joining us too. Gray Man Stash, however you like to refer. It's good to see you. Nice horns, by the way.
Thank you. They're new, and they think they're awesome.
Is that like is that like a special type of headphone, or is that something you put on your headphones?
No, you put it on.
Nice.
Very Maleficent, which is fitting, because Angelina Jolie is also Maleficent.
That's true.
That is
Angelina
correct.
Jolie
Yeah.
is in Maleficent. Maleficent.
She is Maleficent.
That was the whole reason.
Maleficent. I think there's an I in the middle of that, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, my glasses are really dirty. But so as everybody knows, this is not a regular Game Brew podcast episode, so we don't have to ask what you're drinking. But if you are drinking anything, feel free to tell us what it is.
I'm drinking this pineapple grenade that I found here.
Nice.
Nice.
It says to drink it fresh, but I did not do that. It's been sitting in this fridge for a couple months now.
Couple
this is-
months.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's the opposite of fresh.
IPA with pineapples and lactose, made by a local brewery. So as you can see, I'm not in my normal location. I'm in the guest room of a shore house.
Nice.
Hence the waterfowl.
Waterfowl. Sir, you are a waterfowl.
As opposed to waterfare. It's brewed by RAR Brewing in Cambridge, Maryland. They're like super into pineapples. They have like a whole Dole Whip set up at their brewery.
Ooh,
pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, this is it's a very refreshing, summery, fruity IPA. It's a little sweeter than I'd like it to be, but it's pretty good.
You said it's brewed with lactose. Does it taste like the milkshake IPAs that they were coming out with?
Yeah, it kind of has that yeah, it's not like a full milkshake IPA.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely has some of that kind of
milkiness.
Yeah.
It's milky. That's what I want in my beer. I want my beer to be milky too. I'm drinking a Yingling because I don't know. It's Yingling time.
I'm drinking what is called a Tomb Raider.
What's a Tomb Raider?
Drinking the brains of your enemy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like.
That's just what I like.
Wasn't that a thing in Game of Thrones at one point?
Oh, drinking out of the skulls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forget when that happened, but anyway, sorry.
That's the first step of making a Tomb Raider is you must slay and vanquish an enemy.
Got it.
To get the cup.
Okay.
Actually, it goes along the lines of Chris's drink. It's a pineapple drink.
Okay. Nice.
It's 3 ounces pineapple juice, ounce and a half of rum,
Nice.
and half an ounce of vodka with a little soda water and a lime wheel.
Oh, nice lime wheel in there. Nothing says summer drink like a lime wedge or a lime wheel, just somewhere on it or in it.
You got to.
It's got to be there. But I do want to say, how's everyone doing? Doing all right after watching
Hanging in there.
Lara Croft Tomb Raider? Everyone feeling okay?
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there.
I don't know, man. I first saw this movie when I was younger. It changed my world.
I was 11 at the time whenever this came out. So, man, Yeah, I started to watch it yesterday. We had my birthday. It was a birthday party.
And Lost Appreciation Day.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dan Appreciation Day.
it was the party for Dan Rat's Appreciation Day, International Dan Rat's Appreciation Day. And we had a Survivor party, so I was exhausted. So we got home and I started watching it, and man, uh, I did not. No, my team lost so bad. I lost so bad. It was terrible. I mean, it was great. It was a lot of fun. Hannah's amazing. She put everything together. She did a great job. And I love her so much.
The cool thing about Survivor is that you have like 70 seasons of chances to really do it. So
Yeah, that's true.
Sure.
That's true. But I decided to watch this movie whenever I came home from that after we like showered and like we're done, and I didn't make it halfway through the movie, so I had to watch it again this morning, just because I watched it last night and then I had to watch it again because I didn't remember what I didn't see.
To refresh your memory.
So
not gonna lie, I was getting a little bit distracted about halfway through. Which is probably not a good sign.
yeah, it's not. It's not. So let's talk about first impressions of the movie going in. How long? So I hadn't seen this movie since probably 2004, maybe.
I think I've seen it more recently than that, but you can tell that this movie was definitely taking some cues from The Matrix.
The Matrix. Well, it came out in 2001,
And
so
I think Matrix was 98?
99, 1999. Because they were talking about the new year in that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been quite some time for me as well. I might have, like Chris, I might have seen it like just to have it if it was on, and wanted to watch it just because. But it's been quite some time. Though when I did watch it initially, I watched it on repeat.
Oh, over and over again. You watched it over and over again.
Well, certain scenes.
Certain parts. Got it.
Really absorb it.
Really
Got
Get it
into
in
the
there.
nitty gritty of what of like, the plot and the characters. So let's talk about some of the characters. So this was movie. It came out 2001. This was starring Angelina Jolie as Lara Croft. This was her first real big.
21-year-old movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. 21 years old.
Bro, we can drink.
This movie could drink. This was like her first foray into action stuff, and she kind of wanted to transition into being more action movie sort of person. So she played Lara Croft. Her father, Richard Croft, was played by John Voight, her actual father. Things I forgot: Ian Glenn, Jorah Mormont. That's why I had Game of Thrones on the brain. And Daniel Craig was in this movie.
How crazy is that?
I was just like, I didn't even remember they were there.
with an American accent that's terrible.
Yeah.
That is
That
really
was
funny
bad.
that Angelina Jolie had a British accent that was bad, and Daniel Craig had an English accent that is bad, even though they're both like, and she's an American actor, and he's a British actor. They could have just left it the same, just make it normal, but
Or at least like helped each other. Like
nah.
Maybe they did help each
And of course we had Noah Taylor was Bryce, our comic relief tech guy, Chris Berry, our comic relief butler as Hillary, Julian Ryan Tutt as Mr. Pims. Mr. Pims. He was the guy with the long hair who was like the lackey guy.
I believe he was also in Game of Thrones. I was looking that up during the movie. I believe I saw him in Game of Thrones somewhere. Well, like everyone was in Game of Thrones.
I feel like everyone was.
everybody
in Game
had
of
like a
Thrones.
role, yeah.
No, sorry, everyone's in the MCU.
Oh, that's true. Well, he was in the movie Stardust from 2007 as one of the sons who dies, Quartus, the fourth son. Which, if you haven't seen Stardust, the movie, and you like fantasy stuff, go see it. Or you like shiny things. It's really pretty. It's a really pretty movie. It's really ham-fisted, but it's a great film. But yeah, we'll keep bringing up people who are in it as we go through. But those are the main characters, the main things. Oh, and of course, this was. If you type in the chat, I can't see it, Chris, just because I can't pull it up.
Well,
So-
it's there, so
Great. Whatever it is that you are putting in there, you could tell me with your face, or I don't know.
right now.
Sign language.
I had a side question. What's your favorite comedy tech guy? Here's a good tangent.
Oh, okay. Here's a good tangent. Ooh, my favorite comedy tech guy.
I'm thinking like Forrest from GoldenEye, Chris Evans in that one movie where they were mercenaries.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was. Oh, I
The
think
Losers.
the losers.
Yeah, it's like the losers. Yeah, like the only time they tried so hard to make Chris Evans ugly in that movie.
They did.
Yeah, there was no way.
Well, they didn't have to try. I mean, they put that chin strap beard on him, and there was no. It was like, yeah, that's really gross.
The
Please.
frosted tips.
Oh,
It was
gosh.
great.
So bad.
Hey, what's wrong with chin straps, man? I rock that.
I don't know. Well, what? I don't know. My favorite comedy tech guy. Oh boy.
Ooh, there's multiple in Jurassic Park.
Oh, that's true. In the first
Samuel L.
one,
Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson's in the first one.
And he's also kind of the villain, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember his name.
Newman.
Yeah.
My headphones are being weird, so I can't hear things out my left ear
Also the
sometimes.
comedy tech guy in a Punisher movie.
Who was?
Newman.
Oh, that's right. He was in the first Punisher movie, I think.
Right.
The
I
second
was
one.
gonna say it was definitely had to be the second.
I think my favorite comedy tech guy. Oh man, that's so hard. I'm trying to think.
Hard to nail it down.
For me, I believe it's a tie between Jack Black, whenever he was,
in
yeah,
in the one with Will Smith.
yeah. What was it?
iRobot? No.
No.
No,
It's filmed in Baltimore. I should know this.
I can't remember the name of the movie off the top of my head, but he
Oh,
was
if you're in chat, you know what
so-
movie they're talking about. Let me know.
so funny about it, and that I think it's a tie between that and whenever they changed out Q in James Bond.
Oh, the new Q in the Daniel
Yeah.
Craig ones.
Wait, first time they changed that to? Or
No, the
second?
first time.
Oh, so it was John Cleese. Then, like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
John
yeah.
Cleese was the new Q. Okay.
Yeah, because it was just like, just from, he brought so much levity to it. Because every time I saw him, I thought about like the Holy Grail and stuff.
Nice.
He
And
was great. Enemy of the State is the movie you were talking about.
that's what it is.
Great
Yes.
movie. I love that movie.
I liked the guy from The Matrix 2 and 3 who was the operator when Tank left.
Oh, the Tank was weird, dude.
It was very strange.
Have you read that whole?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole
It's a whole
about
thing.
that?
It was a whole
Yeah.
thing about it. But yeah, I like the guy who came in to replace him whenever they had
He was
him.
pretty solid.
He was like Tank's brother-in-law or something like that in the plot.
Yeah, they were definitely related. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's classic
I
recasting.
I enjoyed the ones from like Ocean's 11.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's always good. I mean, Ocean's 11 was just a fantastic
Marvelous.
movie. Just a fantastic film.
Really great. Just great.
Like a remake that you could be like, yeah, this is good. Like whenever they made it, we're like, oh yeah, I think this
Well,
is better.
they also
Yeah.
did it at the right time.
That's true.
Because like our generation probably hadn't seen the original.
I've never seen it.
Oh, definitely
Right.
not.
No, I haven't seen it.
I just like I just really love Brad Pitt's character decision to always be eating food no matter what scene he's in.
So good.
Something that he does in most movies.
I
there's a
think
scene
you're right.
that-
Maybe he's just hungry. Maybe he's just a hungry guy, and we just.
Him and Robert Downey Jr. They did
It's
the
true.
same
Robert Downey
thing.
Jr. does the same
And like
thing.
whenever anybody asks him about it, they're like, "Oh, it adds depth to the character because he's more human." And it's
Correct.
like, I mean, I can see that.
But but you know what? Let's switch back. Let's untangent ourselves real quick, and we're gonna get into back into the movie. So let's talk about the plot of the movie. So Tomb Raider, the plot of Tomb Raider, or I'm sorry, the plot of Lara Croft Tomb Raider, because that's the title of the movie. It's not just Tomb Raider because that's different. Is Lara Croft?
I believe it's pronounced Lara.
Lara Croft hunts tombs, she raids them, and gets things.
They were very clear that Tomb Raider is a job.
It's a job title. Like her title in the movie is like when she goes out, she's like, "Yeah, I raid tomb. I'm a tomb raider." Well, of course.
Daniel Craig's character also that was his position.
That's his job. He's also a Tomb Raider. But I can't, we're skipping a whole thing, which is the robot fight in the beginning,
Yes.
which like out of left field. Like just like why start it with a robot fight whenever you could show her doing her job?
Classic training montage.
Human versus like super advanced robot that almost kills her in 2001.
That's not how you train.
That's not how I train. I have a dog. He gets in my way, but that's about it.
It's in my way.
I mean, how did you feel about that being the thing? Also, did anyone else watch this and notice that the aspect ratio was like really bad sometimes?
I didn't
Yeah.
notice that. I did like the beginning of it. It felt off, and like you knew, like I almost immediately, I completely forgot the entire plot of this movie before I'd seen it again. So I was like, oh, this is totally a training exercise, like 100%. Why else would there be a robot in this tomb?
Right. I think it would have made more sense if it was like after the, hologram fell and she was in like the factory or in her like training area.
Right.
It would have made more sense if they would have just like that was the whole time.
If it was instead her just doing regular like jumping off of stuff, like in the original Tomb Raider game, whenever you're at your mansion, you could do like the training, which is like jumping from, like jump on all these pillars outside. You could jump over boxes. You can try and murder your butler, and then eventually lock him in a freezer. Was that what? Say that again?
It's just classic Tomb Raider stuff.
I mean, that's just classic Tomb Raider stuff. There was one point where if you would try and shoot at your butler in Tomb Raider, the original one, he would always hold up his little silver tray in front of his face. And he does that whenever she's like smashing the clock. So he holds it up in front of his face to block all the stuff. And I'm like, nice.
Yeah. It was giving me big Perfect Dark vibes in a way.
Okay. Well, also, as we're going through and talking about this, I want you to, like, as you watched it, you probably felt some of the camera angles were very familiar, because the director of this was Simon West. And Simon West also directed another cinematic classic starring one of the greatest actors of our time, Nicolas Cage. That's right. He's the director of Con Air in 1997.
Ooh, yes.
So there's a lot of like really like fast approaching camera angles, a lot of ones that are like sideways, that are tilted, that he would do a lot of the time. But I just know when I watched it, the aspect ratio was like huge. Like their faces looked so wide in like some shots. So I
think they just did a poor job of taking it from the movie and putting it onto DVD.
Well, okay. How did you guys watch it?
I watched it on HBO Max.
So did I.
And on there, it was black boxed, so it was the right sizing, but it just looked so weird. I think there's one scene. We're going to keep getting back into the plot because basically, let's get back into the plot, and then I'll talk about this when it comes up. So she's training, robot, kills the robot, puts on Lara's party mix, which is 1990 or
shooting everything.
Yeah.
Like just destroying. If this was a real tomb, destroying priceless artifacts.
Yeah, everything would be destroyed. Just pow, 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 pow. She shoots a pillar, it falls down on the robot. And then she gets Laura's party mix, puts it in the robot, and we hear classic 2001, just and that's like the cool music that was happening. And then we get a bunch of what was it? We get a bunch of different like flashbacks to her and her father, and then we cut to the Illuminati, where we get to meet all of the Illuminati and our bad guy in this film, Jorah Mormont, who comes into play because he's like, oh yeah, we got to find this thing, because the like lining up of the planets is going to happen. Manfred Powell is the bad guy's name. And
which I thought it would be much harder to find the Illuminati. They were just in a building downtown.
Yeah, it was it wasn't even secret. They're just there. They're just like, hey guys.
That dude loved, like, I guess Southeast Asian culture. He loved some sort of culture. I'm not sure which one it was.
Yeah, Southeast Asian culture, I think, is a good way to do it. But there's going to be a solar eclipse, and that's the final phase for whatever is going to happen.
Solar eclipse. Not just a solar eclipse. It's all of the planets aligned.
Yes. It only happens once every 5,000 years. And then so Lara has a dream in which she sees her dad, and he's like, and she wakes up, and there's this mysterious ticking that she hears in this giant mansion. She hears ticking in her giant mansion, like from the bedroom down.
Sleep.
Yeah, from a dead sleep. Just like, and she finds it, breaks down a door and finds a clock. In it, there's like a little like small clock device or something like that. And so she goes to show it to Wilson, who's a friend of her father's, which is where we meet Daniel Craig's character, Alex West. Which you guessed. Oh, by the way, robot's name, Simon. Right. Alex West's name, Alex West. Simon West, director. That's his name. Put it in the movie. Here we go. Getting all the stuff. This was the worst shot talking to someone's scene I've ever seen in my life.
It was bad.
It was cut, like their faces were cut off on everything. Like, and it wasn't adjusted to be like that. Like, because it was in black box, it was like every shot of Daniel Craig was like this much of his head. And then we could see this much above Angelina Jolie's head, but her chin was also cut off. I'm like, you couldn't back up the camera? Like maybe 2?
They wanted it close in.
I mean,
very tight space.
Do you think they had to use the camera mics for it? Like, did they not hire a sound guy for that day? So they had to have the cameras really close to it?
There was just one guy right in between them.
So that's why they had to be so close. I bet that's what
see the mic guy.
No, I bet that was it. I bet the boom operator was way too close to him. So they had to cut around him. So they had to zoom in on everything. Oh, that's awful.
Or you think like the mic was like dipping?
It was just too low.
I think it was underneath. I think it was below them because there was way more space on the top than there was on the bottom.
Okay.
Huh.
And Daniel Craig doesn't have a big head. So you got to be really close to cut off most of Daniel Craig's head.
That's very true.
But she shows. So then she shows Lara, and Alex West is another adventurer. As we said, he's a Tomb Raider. That's his job description. Imagine seeing that on LinkedIn.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah, and then Lara shows Powell photographs of the clock, and he says he doesn't recognize it. He obviously recognizes it because it's a movie. So they make it obvious that he knows what it is, but he's like, "No, I don't know what this is." She's like, "Okay." She leaves.
Neat.
And then later he calls and says, "Oh yeah, by the way, I do know what this is." And
it's so secretive.
It is. And then she's doing like this bungee jump trapeze thing?
So this is like one of the weirdest parts of the movie to me. Like, I guess before I go to bed, I like to just like jump around my large room in my mansion. That's just the normal thing I do before I go to bed.
I mean, rich people are weird, man.
Yeah, she like makes a show of like popping in her headphones and stuff. It's like getting ready for it.
Well, that's how we know that
It wanted so badly to have like Matrix stuff in it, and it was just like, well, what's the excuse we can use to do that?
Right.
Angelina Jolie did sprain her ankle doing that. Because she did do the like aerial gymnastics stuff. She sprained her ankle landing on the chandelier whenever they do that scene in it. But like overkill, right? They send so many dudes to go steal that thing from her.
They should have sent one dude.
I mean, probably would have done better, but instead it's just Jorah Mormont, Mr. Pims, and all the bad guys you could possibly ask for from Bad Guy Incorporated.
The package. They went to Bad Guy Costco, They got
Oh,
a discount.
that's right.
Well, we might as well use all of them.
Might as well. I mean, we got all these bad guys. So basically, they find that clock thingy that they find has to find this triangle of light, which is it's something that controls space and time. Jorah Mormont keeps saying that it will make him like a god if they find it. And so they go to Cambodia is the first place they go to. Angkor. Which this is the first movie since 1967 where they were allowed to film in Cambodia.
That's cool.
Oh no, I just realized that this title is wrong. Oh no. Hold on.
No, I will say while you're changing that, Dan, one of my favorite parts of the movie was in that initial fight scene with all the bad guys.
Uh-huh.
Like
the
aerial one.
Yeah, because after she eventually got off that, she went all over the place. But whenever she face smacked that guy with the back of her motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
Which actually, so I've been playing. I just recently bought Bayonetta, and they totally do that in Bayonetta too.
Oh really?
Nice.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, hey, I guess that's a thing right now. Except it's not. It's almost 10 years difference, but whatever.
Well, I think they did it in the recent John Wick too. They did a whole scene on motorcycles.
They did, which we are watching the John Wick movies right now.
I've never seen any John Wick movies.
Oh, you gotta watch them.
Because I'm a bad person.
You need to correct yourself, sir.
Yeah,
I know.
Check yourself before you John Wick yourself.
Before you wreck yourself.
Yes. I will say that action scene was really good. I think that the things that they do, like her jumping around and shooting people, was good. I like her running around on the walls that she was doing. It was pretty interesting.
Very Matrix.
Butler with a shotgun, classic.
Butler with a shotgun.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
And it always happens where the butler puts on gets the shotgun and puts on he does it so calmly, when he's doing stuff. That's it's a trope.
Professional. Professional.
Right.
So yeah, she has some vision, I guess. What?
Not what? They go to Cambodia.
Yeah, they go to Cambodia. She has a vision where her father's like, you have to get both halves before the Illuminati can exploit the Triangle's power. But she goes to the temple. Pal's already there. Alex West is there too. Ooh, surprise! He's a bad guy.
Bad team.
This part gave me big Indiana Jones vibes.
It does, especially because there's a giant. They fight a giant, Shiva statue or something like that.
Yeah, that just twirls around.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I also feel like the size of those guns would have done more damage to that Shiva.
Like the Guardian statue. Yeah. I mean, it's a movie, and it's very video gamey. So they had, and also I don't think CGI was good enough at the time to have that be a thing.
I just mean not necessarily that it should have been done better. Just if I shoot a desert eagle at a rock, the rock explodes.
That's true, or at least has some damage,
Right, and she emptied clip after clip into that thing.
Yeah. So, but she ends up she gets the piece of the triangle, and then escapes. Arranges she goes to a Buddhist monastery, which is just
and they have a phone.
They had a phone. I have sometimes I'm just so I don't know if that's as much as I'm okay with realism in it's it's a video game movie. It doesn't have to be real. I'm that. You wouldn't be able to just do that. You can't just go there. And then apparently the guy at the monastery knows her dad and is magic. And he's magic. Right. He heals her with some drink that she drinks.
Classic. Yeah, makes sense. Buddhists are magic. You didn't know that?
I didn't
Wow.
know. Are all Buddhists magic?
Well, once you reach a certain
I learned
level,
from this movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
only the magic ones are allowed to stay at the temple.
Oh boy. But she reaches out to Powell, Jorah Mormont, and Mr. Pims, who I'm just going to put in there too. Mr. Pims basically does absolutely nothing in the entire movie. He's just there to be.
He's got hair.
He's got the long. I mean, Jorah Mormont has long hair too, but Mr. Pims has like the good long hair.
Yeah.
It's so much better. He uses conditioner. Like he's got volume improving conditioner in. So yeah, he says basically, okay, we'll partner up. We'll use the and he's like, hey, you can use the triangle's power to resurrect your dad. And she's like, oh, maybe, all right, you know what? Let's do that. So
I've got daddy issues. That's great.
yeah, perfect. So then Lara, Jorah Mormont, Mr. Pims, Alex West, the entire Illuminati organization, and the Costco bad guys all go to
Cold.
Siberia. Siberia is where they go to. And
Wait.
they find this giant orrery where it has it's like a big planet spinning. Also, like the stupidest part in the entire movie, which is when there's like they have the dog jump through the like little thing.
They have to climb up the thing, and
she's
they
like,
show all these people falling into the water.
They do. It's moving so
and,
slow.
And they are never heard of again.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, there's one guy who like.
Gone.
There's one guy. Hannah was sitting next to me watching it, and like there was one guy who gets like crushed by one of the things. Like you hear bones cracking. He goes ah, and then but you can see like he's quite actively just ducking under the thing as it happens. So it's like he's fine. He's just
I mean, they're all fine. They're just
Dramatic.
they lost their American Ninja Warrior contest.
It's true.
Yeah.
And all.
Valid.
Sorry, go ahead, Greg. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying that's valid.
It's valid.
You can't get that back easily.
And then Lara Croft says, out of nowhere, because there's these floating gold things around, a dog jumps through one, and she's like, "Oh, it's a time storm." I'm like, what?
I know exactly what to do.
What? I know exactly what that is, and it's also like, what? That's a thing? You just know that that's a thing, and that's what it's called?
She's a Tomb Raider. That's her job.
Tomb Raiders. Damn.
You need to look at the
Tomb
syllabus for the Tomb Raider job.
Syllabus. So bingo bango, they do a Ninja Warrior course. They're climbing all over this thing. Then Lara's like, "Oh, I know what to do. Give me the thing." They give it to her. She goes inside the sun, pulls out the other half of the triangle, and then gives it to the Illuminati. Then, surprise, surprise, Jorah Mormont betrays everyone, kills all the Illuminati, and then tries to put the triangle together. Doesn't fit. And then, in a moment of realization and paying off the fact that time storms are a thing, Lara throws the clock thing into the time storm, pulls out a little grain of sand related to a quote that her dad had said, puts it in the middle, and then we get a bunch of CGI about them fighting for control of the time. Oh, also he kills Alex West by throwing a knife at him. Then Lara Croft jumps in, kisses him on the face as he gets crushed under like some gears underwater.
Right.
Which is, I mean, that's how we all want to go, right? Being
Valid.
smooched by Angelina Jolie, Lara Croft underwater as we're being crushed to death after having been stabbed.
Yeah. It just goes to show that you can't, not every Tomb Raider's on the same level. Because if he was really a Tomb Raider, wouldn't have happened.
Wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have happened.
Right through the heart or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they do the thing. They fight. They do the thing that they do in every video game movie that makes absolutely no sense, but they do it anyway. Do you know what I'm talking about, Chris? You know what I'm going to talk about?
No.
Let's make this a
Yeah.
fair fight.
Yeah.
Always, every time. There's always somebody and every time they do that, I'm like,
Doom. Did
No.
they do that in Street Fighter?
they didn't do it not on purpose, but like, kind of. He like jumped down and like he told all of his like little bad guys to go away.
But in Doom, they literally said that,
Yep.
And then and they said that we're kind of 3 for 3 at this point.
I mean, but it's every time. It's like they're both aiming. Well, first of all, her guns are pointed like this. His head is right here. Her guns are pointed like this, so she wouldn't be able to hit him anyway if she were shooting at him. But
she'd hit both ears.
yeah, he would be able to hear anything.
Really inconvenient.
But
Ow!
it's that really hurt. But then like you have to say whenever the bad guy's like, let's make this a fair fight, and then he throws his gun down, just shoot him in the face, and then it's over. You're done.
But no, they're good people, and good people don't do that, Dan.
You can't do that.
No, that doesn't make any sense though. What am I gonna do? She still murders him anyway. Apparently, she kills him with a throat punch at the end of their fight. Like she punches him in the throat, and he goes down, and his eyes are open, and he's like dead.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to kill somebody, would you rather shoot them or throat punch them?
But you wouldn't die from a throat punch. Like you would be in severe pain and maybe unable to breathe.
Throat punch.
You could what?
Collapse your throat.
Your esophagus or trachea.
Well, but you wouldn't. But it wouldn't be like I'm dead. Like it wouldn't be a punch.
Instantaneous.
Choking to death, basically.
yeah. There's an extra 10 minutes of him writhing on the floor as he's choking to death on his own throat. But she wins. She escapes the thing. I thought the like way she escapes from the place is she sees a bunch of dogs or a bunch of sled dogs that are there. She like grab. Aha. She actually does the thing where it's like in the Tomb Raider game. Anytime Lara would find anything, she'd always go aha. And then put it in her magical backpack that it went into.
The Infinity Pack.
Yeah, which is what she did. She said, aha, as she found the dogs. And then she, like, basically skated out of that place.
Which was cool.
It was cool. And then they smash cut to the end. She's wearing a dress. Ooh, because oh boy, modern femininity. And it's like, she could wear whatever she wants. It's fine.
She's a strong, independent woman.
She is. And then she visits her father's memorial. Bryce, the tech guy, is like, "Hey, I reprogrammed the robot." And then she does like this pose at the end with the guns.
And then the butler has on a tray 2 pistols.
Just 2 pistols.
2 guns.
Yep. Which she takes with the smile. She goes, "Good job." And then freeze frame. End of movie. Yeah, so that's it. That's the plot. We made it. That's the movie that we all watched. What's your favorite part of it, Gray?
See that? Like, my favorite part now is probably that scene I was talking about when she's fighting, like, the Shiva golem.
Gotcha. Now 11-year-old Gray.
11-year-old Gray? Definitely the shower scene. Come on now.
Yep. The one with Daniel Craig, right? Where he's in the shower. Because they did, I mean, I guess it's required as a Tomb Raider that you shower in very open environments where people can easily get into them.
To film you.
Yeah, to film you. And also to sneak into your bathroom. Like, just a normal thing.
But it's also crazy because, like, obviously from the Tomb Raider games, Lara Croft has a very particular set of assets.
Mm-hmm. Video game assets is what we're talking about.
Video game assets, yes. Yep. And they had to put so much on Angelina Jolie.
Well, it wasn't a lot. She's even said in an interview, it wasn't as much as you'd think, but they did.
I don't know. I've seen that movie. I was very meticulous in that shower scene. I'm pretty sure.
Well, she did. So, in an interview, Angelina Jolie said that she was like, "Well, she said there's a very particular set of things that the fans are looking for."
Right.
And we did have to do a little bit of enhancement. She was like a 36C, and they went up to a 36D. And Lara Croft, I think, is a 36 double D in like the original games. So, and she was like, we weren't going to go that crazy with it.
Which is another reason why I think it's very interesting they went with the acrobatic flying against the ceiling scenes.
In your PJs.
Well, I guess that makes sense. She was in a very baggy shirt during that scene. I
It
think
was
that's
like
why.
literally pajamas, but she only buttoned like the top button.
Yeah, she only buttoned like 2 buttons. That's so
So her stomach was just out the entire time.
just it's like movies written and directed by men in the early 2000s where it's just like,
Well,
yeah, this is it. This is what we want.
this is what women do before they go to sleep, and this is how they wear their PJs, right?
Right. It's like, no. Have you seen a woman? Have you seen a woman before? Have you talked to any of these? No?
Nope.
Okay.
Never in my life.
Chris, what was your favorite part of the movie?
So I mentioned before that like when they got to Angkor in Cambodia, there was a section where they were kind of like getting into the tomb.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a sucker for like that archaeological business. Like I really like the scenes in like Raiders of the Lost Ark when they're
Yeah.
like digging for the Ark and stuff.
When they're doing like the like problem solving archaeological sort of stuff.
And like they were definitely trying to channel some of that. I think.
Great. What was my favorite part? I don't know.
What it ended. No.
No, I mean, I don't know. I think like my favorite part of it was like how much of a 2001 movie it was.
Gosh, it was very 2011.
Like
Exactly.
it was like I said before, like the camera angles, like it's like they don't do camera angles like that anymore. Like they just don't because it's like not seen as good. It's really not.
Right.
It's very jarring.
and the tech guy just had like random vibrating robots while he slept. Just to
Yeah,
Right.
because that's how you know he's a tech guy, though.
literally nothing. They just vibrate and like bounce around and stuff. It's like that's
He's like, "All right, boys, I'm up," you know. But
he's a nerd. I don't know. I'm not a nerd, so I can't relate.
the only the only thing I remember about the movie, like specifically, was the part with the knife. Whenever she stops time and she moves,
And stuff.
yeah, I thought that was like a cool like.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of time to change things, but that's one thing. The only problem I have with that is like the momentum of the knife would probably still make it go the same direction.
The same way,
who
right.
knows? Like, but instead of stabbing Daniel Craig,
Timey-wimey magic, dude.
you're right. Timey-wimey magic. You're right. Doesn't matter. What was your least favorite part, Chris?
There were just a lot of things that just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and the rule of cool prevailed, I think.
Yeah.
Example A is that the her jumping around in her foyer, because that's what I do before I go to bed, and just stuff like that. Or like even just like climbing up the swinging things. Like it was just constant rule of cool.
Yeah, just like, oh, this cool thing happens, then Lara Croft does this cool thing, and then she does this cool thing too.
It's like someone who like doesn't play video games. And, people just want to see people just do cool stuff.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. That's very much a thing that I think movie producers think about whenever they're making stuff. Yes, especially video game movies. Gray, what about you? Something that you did not like about the movie?
I honestly, I'd have to agree with Chris. It's just like it's kind of what you were saying earlier, Dan. Just the way it was kind of cut together. There was a lot of stuff that didn't really add substance either to the storyline or to the way the movie went in general.
It was
So,
just
like,
just things happened for happening's sake.
right, and it kind of told you why they were happening, but it was just like, did that really need to happen?
It's always interesting with scripts, like whenever people are like script writing, because it's always like you have big moments. Like when you're storyboarding, it's like, okay, we have to have this moment, we have to have this moment, we have to have this moment. Then you do like the, okay, how do we get there? And it feels like in this movie, they kind of said, okay, here's all the big moments. How do we get there? We'll figure it out eventually. And then they forgot to. And then the night before, they're like, oh, she just knows. It's like, what? Oh, she just knows. She's just going to go to the place where it is.
She's Tomb Raider.
Because she's Tomb Raider. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Well,
Now this is a video game podcast, so we are going to now talk about how we think it related to the video game series. Like, how do you think that the Lara Croft Tomb Raider from 2001, how does it stack up to the Tomb Raider video games that had come out?
So I haven't played a lot of the Tomb Raider games,
Mm-hmm.
but if you didn't tell me this was a video game movie, I wouldn't know it's a video game movie.
see that. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it really didn't.
There wasn't really a lot that like connected me to that. Like with the Doom, and they had that scene where like you had that first person thing, so like
Mhm.
I kind of hinted to that. In the Street Fighter one, I feel like there was just a ton of references all the time. Not a good movie, but you could still kind of tell it was a video game movie. This one, like,
Right.
it didn't have to be Lara Croft. It could have just been
Any generic.
any generic Tomb Raider. Um,
Well, just for a reference of to what, like, because there have been many Tomb Raider games. Hold on, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There have been 20 Tomb Raider games. Before this, but yeah, it's a lot. A lot of them, some of them are remasters. Some of them are,
Yeah.
I think there's one that hasn't come out yet. But before this movie came out, there had been 6. Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3. Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation came out for PlayStation and Microsoft Windows in 1999. Then in 2000, we had Tomb Raider on the Game Boy Color and Tomb Raider Chronicles in 2000. And then in 2001, Tomb Raider Curse of the Sword came out on Game Boy Color. But I don't think we'll count that one as coming out before it because I don't know exactly when it came out.
Yeah. I think the only thing that really was similar between the Tomb Raider movie and the games themselves was it was very clear that the movie was fanfare. Like Tomb
Yes.
Raider has always had a aspect of it, like you were saying earlier, like there were certain things that people expected when they played Tomb Raider.
Yes.
The double guns, the double Ds, and that's what
You're not wrong.
know,
You're not wrong.
and I think that's kind
there
of
wasn't dinosaurs.
correct. But
That's
I think that's
true.
the only thing that kind of has like similarity between them is this movie, like you said, it was, oh, we want to see action. Oh, we want to see, a beautiful woman kicking bad guys' butts. Whatever the case is. And I think that's really the only similarity between them.
And they really did make like a point to, I think Angelina Jolie only wore like the classic like Lara Croft, like the short shorts and the tank top. She only, in the beginning, I think was the only time, right?
When she was training, yeah.
When she went to Cambodia, or no?
I can't remember. Maybe
I think when she went to Cambodia, it was similar, but she was wearing like a one-piece swimsuit, wasn't she? Or am I thinking of a different scene?
might be a different one. I know in I think that the outfits this is to segue into my I think that they did a good job of making her just look cool, like 2001 cool. So
Cool.
yeah, so like always sunglasses. She always is like in the coolest position, like whenever she's in a conversation. My favorite, I still think I really do like the visualization whenever Daniel Craig is in the shower and then he like hears something, goes out, doesn't see it, goes back, and then Traitor is written on the glass of the shower in the steam, and he turns around and she's there. And he doesn't do it. He doesn't put on anything. He's just like, here's my penis. He's just like, hey, what's up? Here's my penis.
Never take the option off the table.
Apparently, there's a version of the script in which the reason that they were at odds with each other, Alex West and Lara Croft, was because were in a relationship, and there was supposed to be a scene where it like flashes back and it's like they were in a relationship and they have sex on a mountain, and then one of them leaves the other one naked on the mountain. And there were two versions of it, one where she did and one where he did. So it's just those are the that's one of the reasons there was, and then they just kind of turned it into being them generic, like, oh yeah, it's just like they just don't like each other because they're in the same sort of
Well, they cut it for time. Got to get in the fighting robot scene. Can't have the.
I mean, can't cut that.
Right.
That's crucial to plot development.
mm-hmm.
Of course.
Plot development. Yeah, so I think they did a good job of making it like, yeah, it's cool. Like everything about it was like, oh, this is really cool. Everything looks cool. Like video games, blah. There was puzzle solving. There was shoosting. I would have liked to see like tank controls, like the original Tomb Raider, where just every once in a while she just keeps missing a jump over and over again. And she like runs with her gun straight out as she's doing something, and then like leaps and stuff.
Real authentic.
Yeah, I always want to see that in video game movies, though. I want to see them like fail at something in a stupid way over and over again, or like glitch out whenever they're supposed to get something. Because that would be fun.
The only one that ever kind of did that, but it was for plot, was Prince of Persia.
That's right.
He had to keep rewinding time because he kept like dying or whatever.
Yeah, he kept like missing a jump, I think, was what it was, which was very true to the game. But that movie also sucks because it whitewashed basically the entire cast.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Anything else about it that you think like, hey, this did a good job as a video game thing or a bad job as a video game thing?
I think the antics of it were definitely leaning more towards video game.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's kind of like you said. There's only so far you can stretch.
Yeah.
Absurdity before it's just like, even in a video game, this would not make sense.
Yeah. I feel like it was just trying to be a lot of things to a lot of people, and for me, it didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
For sure.
All right. I have to excuse me.
That being said, it was better than Doom. Not as nostalgic as Street Fighter, but I would say of the three we've seen so far, it's probably the best one.
I would say because it was still entertaining. Like, it's an entertaining movie. Some of the middle parts were a little boring. Whenever they were trying to piece together some sort of plot for what they had.
The most polish.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Of those three.
So let's go into our domestic box office results for 2001. Chris, can you look up what Rotten Tomatoes gave Tomb Raider? Because I don't think I've looked at that at all.
I don't know if Rotten Tomatoes will have it, but let me check.
I think they would. They have a lot of movies on there.
Yeah, but Rotten Tomatoes came out after Tomb Raider came out.
Well, they still do old movies, you know?
Yeah. They do old movies.
Oh, wow. This is wild. Are you ready for this, guys? Mm-hmm. In 2001, Lara Croft Tomb Raider was number 14 domestic box office, ranked 14th that year. It did slightly better than The Fast and the Furious and Ocean's 11.
Better than Ocean's 11?
No, it did slightly worse. Sorry, it said worse. Oh. So in 12th place was The Fast and the Furious, and 13th was Ocean's 11th, and 14th was Lara Croft Tomb Raider, with a domestic gross of $131 million. And it did better than Castaway and Traffic.
Wow. Those are two good movies.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
I mean, 2001, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone came out. So that was
Is that number one?
number one. Then we had Shrek at number 2, Monsters Inc. at number 3.
That was before Lord of the Rings came out?
Lord of the Rings came out the same year and was number 10 as far as domestic gross.
Huh.
So, yeah. And the budget, let's look at the budget. What was the budget?
115 million.
115 million. So, definitely made its money back and a little bit more. Worldwide gross 274 million. So they were okay. Opening weekend.
I was seeing something that it was one of the biggest releases for a female lead in an action film.
I think at the time, yeah. There hadn't been a lot of. I don't think there were really many female-led action films since before 2001.
Yeah.
So, but
this is probably one of the first ones for sure. That was like huge.
Yeah, and Angelina Jolie did really use this to this was what she used to propel herself into being more of an action star than anything. Because after this, 2 years later, they did the sequel, The Cradle of Life.
I'm showing box office as 274.7 million.
That's worldwide.
That's worldwide.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I always look at they always rank it based on domestic gross.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows why? Then the year after that, she was in Sky Captain: The World of Tomorrow.
Love that film.
Then the year after
That
that,
was so good.
then 2005, she did Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mm.
Uh,
No, Sky Captain of the World of Tomorrow is basically the not video game version of Crimson Skies.
basically, except more boring.
I love Sky Captain.
Really? I hated that movie. I thought it was the most boring thing I've ever seen.
I think it would have excelled as a series.
But it was 2003. We
movies.
didn't talk about that at the time. We never, no one would be like, "Oh yeah, series. That's the thing you can do. Long form series, totally." But so, say again.
I like that movie. I guess I'm weird. I don't know.
No. You can like it. That's fine. It's just one of the ones I thought
You
was
can like it.
You can like whatever you want. But Chris, what's the Rotten Tomatoes score that?
Rotten Tomatoes is 20% on the tomato meter and an audience score of 47%.
Oh, so the audience likes it more.
Yeah. Metacritic score of 33.
Okay. Because Metacritic kind of combines everything, so that makes sense then.
Yeah.
So I think the way I've understood it, Rotten Tomatoes is the chance that you will like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Metacritic's more the general score of it.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, that's why it's I'm never gonna look at the Rotten Tomatoes score for a Marvel movie or anything like that because I'm gonna go see it and I'm gonna like it. You know.
Some of these Metacritic scores though, I know that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen's garbage, but I still love it.
Yeah, well, we all do. I'm reading the graphic novel version of that right now.
Oh, that's good.
So far, it's different. It's different, obviously. So, I'm for it. But as everybody knows at the Game Brew, we don't use domestic gross and we don't use the Metacritic scores. We use our patented Game Brew rating system, TM. Don't steal it. To say what we think about the movie. So, Chris, what would you give this movie?
2.5 gratuitous fighting robots in a fake tomb out of 5.
Out of 5. Okay. All right. That's pretty good. Gray, what about you?
I would have to put it squarely with 5 out of 10 skulls of my enemy.
5 out of 10 skulls of my enemy. Okay. All right. I'm going to give it a little bit more. I'm going to give it 20 out of 36 double D's for this movie. Because I don't think it wasn't middle of the road. It's a little bit better. Because I did enjoy parts of it. even though I still think it was the acting was a little wooden sometimes, and like
for me, like I'm having trouble remembering any of it because it's so
just so blah.
yeah, yeah,
So vanilla. I mean, I think it could help that I watched it. That I had to watch it twice.
yeah.
So I subconsciously watched it last night, and then I actively watched it this morning. So
Stuck in your head more.
a little bit. But there are things that I remember about it, like that knife. I don't know why, but the knife spinning thing that she does, I just remember that all the time, and I don't know why. But that's about it. So all right, so there's your reviews for Lara Croft Tomb Raider. If you, I guess we have to think about what we're gonna do next. You know, we got to give the people a chance.
I think Resident Evil might, or do we want to say Resident Evil for like Halloween?
Like a special Halloween GameView podcast.
There you go.
We could always do. There's a Netflix series that apparently is awful that came out.
I've heard that.
That is like
I think
that.
I saw you watch Rampage.
Rampage is on the is on the board. We could do that. Or
Is there a Hitman movie?
is there a what?
Ooh, Hitman.
Hitman movie?
Yeah, there's two
Oh
of them
God,
at
there's
least.
2 of them.
Hitman and then what? Agent 47.
Yeah, but we would have to watch the first one. I mean, that's
Of course.
Hitman movie from 2007, starring Timothy Oliphant. Oh no, I forgot it was him. Okay, so I'll put a vote up. The vote's going to be between Rampage, starring The Rock. We could add another Rock movie onto our list, or Hitman from 2007, starring Timothy Oliphant.
I don't even know who Timothy Oliphant is.
He was in Deadwood.
He's currently in the Sarah
He's
Claire
top man.
diet.
Oh, he's the sheriff in yeah.
Cobb Vanth.
Yes, Cobb Vanth. He's in Justified.
Okay. I know that guy. He's not a good Agent 47.
Well,
I can tell you that right now.
so we're gonna put a vote in the Game Brew Discord, where you could go to see that. It will be in episode discussion. You can always do it there. And to get to that Discord, if you are not part of it, you can go to bit.ly/discobrew. That's bit.ly/discobrew, DISCOBREW. So we're going to do some, we're going to sign off here. We don't have a sign off for that we do, but first we're going to do some plugs. Gray, thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure. I feel very welcomed, even in this bad movie
Listen,
arena.
this is what we do with all of our new friends. We force them to watch movies that are not great or just meh, and then
I'm okay with running the gauntlet. I'm okay.
all right. No, we're not gonna. There is no Gauntlet movie. There's a D&D movie that's coming out.
There's also an old.
There's an
D&D.
old D&D movie. We could watch that one, but that one's so bad.
And there's a series,
Oh, there is a series. The series is
a
better.
cartoon series.
But so great. What's your deal? Where can people find you?
Well, I'm happy to announce that I will be starting to stream
Yeah.
next week. Yes. On under Grayman Steich on Twitch TV. You can also listen to some podcasts of mine. The Nightmare Potluck. You can find us anywhere underneath Nightmare Potluck. We talk about spooky stories and urban legends and whatnot. And I'm just excited for all these things.
That's great. That's a lot of good stuff. The podcast is very spooky. I have listened to it, and it is good. I recently started to run a Monster of the Week campaign, so I like
Nice.
spooky cryptid sort of stuff. It's the same one I've done. I've started this same campaign at Monster of the Week with like 4 different groups. They are now at the point where everybody has been.
I don't want to do it.
I know, Chris. I know it's great, but I gotta get people to like communicate. It's hard. The biggest enemy that you can ever face in tabletop gaming is scheduling conflicts. So
100%.
Um,
100%.
But yeah, you can obviously, if you can listen to the Game Brew podcast by finding it on any of your favorite podcasting podcatchers, I guess is what they're called. And that's just the Game Brew, all one word. The Game Brew the Game Brew one word podcast. I stream on Thursdays sometime. If you want to watch me play Call of Duty with my brothers, it's fun. But that's just twitch.tv/tubecrazed, TUBECRAZED. My buddy Uzman might be streaming too soon, so he'll be on there. Chris, anything you want to plug?
Nah, you know me.
Ducks?
Ducks. Waterfowl.
Waterfowl.
Well, Chris's new Etsy store for Warhammer figurines will be up in 2025.
Ooh, maybe.
Maybe. I would love to I would just want to paint models. I don't want to buy them. I just want people to give them to me. I want to
come to Maryland and we'll paint together.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. Well, we don't have a sign off for this, so we're just gonna just say whatever you want to say, guys. Say it right now. Well, not whatever. Appropriate things.
Whatever. Good night, everybody.
No, we don't say that one, Chris.
No, sorry. Good evening, everybody.
Damn it.
Salutation.
Damn it. All right. See you, everybody. Have a